Islam for Mankind. While we are awaiting our co-host and translator, Dr. Jesus Marti, he's in his way, we have the pleasure and the honor to host today Sister Nahila Morales from Islam in Spanish. She's calling all the way from Texas. Do we have Sister Nahila Morales with us on the line?
Yes, I'm here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. We thank you very much, and we are very honored and privileged to have with us Sister Nahila Morales. And how is the weather in Texas, Sister Nahila?
Hot. It's very hot. Hot and humid. But alhamdulillah. Thank God for AC.
Alhamdulillah. Similar in Florida is the same thing, so you're not missing anything. It's the same thing, inshallah. Sister Nahila Morales, can you please tell us about yourself, and your organization, Islam in Spanish, for our audience? And since we are awaiting our translator, I don't speak Spanish, so I would, rather that you speak in English first and then in Spanish as well, inshallah, while we're waiting for Dr. Jesus to arrive. He just arrived right now, so get ready, inshallah. Go ahead, Sister Nahila, jazakumullahu khair.
Yes, well, my name is Nahila Morales, and I am the brand ambassador, community manager for the educational nonprofit organization IslaminSpanish.org. IslaminSpanish.org was founded 15 years ago, and just this year, in January of 2016, we opened the first Spanish-speaking Islamic center, Islamic Spanish Centro Islámico. So that was opened earlier this year in January. And so the organization itself has been around for 15 years, and it was founded by Brother Jaime Mujahid Fletcher. Our organization is based to educate Latinos around the world, Muslim and non-Muslim, about Islam in the Spanish language. And so we focus on live streaming not only our classes, but our weekly khutbahs. Do you want me to do it in Spanish as well?
Yeah, as well. Dr. Jesus just arrived, so he just, while he's, getting himself together, inshallah, if you want to, please go ahead, do it in Spanish, and then we can proceed, inshallah.
Okay. Mi nombre es Nahila Morales y soy la organizadora de la comunidad, representando a la organización sin lucros, IslaminSpanish.org. La organización ha estado activa desde hace 15 años y fue fundada por el hermano Jaime Mujahid Fletcher. Recientemente, ahora en enero, abrimos el primer centro de habla hispana para la comunidad musulmana latinoamericana aquí en Houston, Texas, en enero. Y desde que abrimos las puertas ya llevamos más de 27 nuevos musulmanes que se han integrado. Somos muy activos, no solamente aquí en el centro, pero también tenemos la facilidad de que nuestras clases y el sermón semanal se pueda ver en vivo a través de nuestro canal de YouTube. So to add on to that, we live stream on a weekly basis both our khutbahs and our Spanish lectures via our YouTube channel, Islam in Spanish TV, and that's on a weekly basis.
What day is it, do you know?
Yes, so the Friday prayer is Fridays, 1:30 Central Time.
Okay.
So it would be 2:30 Eastern Time. And the weekly classes take place on Sunday, 11 o'clock Central Time. El sermón del viernes se lleva a cabo los días viernes y se lleva a cabo a la 1:30 hora de Texas, que viene siendo 2:30 hora de Miami, hora de la Florida, y se puede ver directamente por nuestro canal de YouTube, que se llama Islam in Spanish TV, y es semanalmente, y esta es una oportunidad que se le da a los musulmanes y no musulmanes, porque hay muchos no musulmanes interesados sobre el Islam y no saben dónde acudir o dónde ir. So esta es una plataforma que es fácil y en el confort de su propio hogar.
And that channel is www.youtube.com/IslaminSpanishTV. Inshallah, for those who want to follow. And also they have a website, www.IslaminSpanish.org. We welcome our translator and co-host, Dr. Jesus Marti. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum, dear sister.
Walaikum
salam.
We are honored to have with us Sister Nahila Morales, all the way from Texas, and she's representing Islam in Spanish organization.
This is a great project. It's going to be, you're going to see it's going to become international.
It is already international.
Yes.
We are international, yes, alhamdulillah. And we do travel outside of Houston. We do attend national and international conventions. Most recent, I attended it. Was one of the speakers at the first Latina Muslima convention in Mexico City, where several countries got together of women in leadership that came for the first convention for women.
Speaking of Mexico, my wife, she was going to call today, but she's conducting a meeting. My wife, she's an American that she converted from Jehovah's Witness, and we've been married for almost 20 years. And she worked for a great company, for Marriott International, and she won an award, the President's Circle Award, and we get the chance to go by the company, was sponsored by the company. We want the chance to go to Mexico, and we visit last year. It was a beautiful experience. The food was excellent. The people were amazing. Cabos San Locas, if I'm saying it right. So it was beautiful experience, a beautiful experience, and I was so proud of it. My wife, she's going to call, so she apologized because she's doing the meeting as we speak. She works on Thursday. So without further ado, inshallah, how did you, Sister Nahila, can you give us your religious background prior to reverting or converting to Islam, inshallah? How did you discover Islam?
My journey, I think, my spiritual journey has been, on the bound for a long, long time, since I can remember. As a young girl, always questioning my faith. And I come from a Roman Catholic religion. And my family is from Mexico, Cuernavaca, Morelos, Mexico. And so it wasn't until my mid-20s when I moved from California to New York, and it was 3 months prior to 9/11 that I moved to New York, and then 9/11 happened. My journey began then because I took it upon myself to go purchase a Quran, not understanding what Muslims or these Muslims had done to the World Trade Center. Me living in the East Coast, and I came to this country when I was 4 years old, so I've lived here my entire life. So I
just
consider
to be
myself
specific,
Christian.
it's not the Muslims who did it. It's actually the non-religious. Per se, Islam is condemn terrorism in all wider form. You just want to reiterate that and continue.
Yes, and that's why
the alleged Muslims.
Right. So that's why I went to purchase a Quran, because I wanted to understand for myself.
Continue.
And so once I began reading, that's when I really, it really opened my eyes to what Islam truly represented and stood for. It wasn't until then, before then, it was just whatever, the television told us or whatever people would say about Islam. But it really, you have to take it upon yourself to educate yourself, to get to know it for yourself, and that's exactly what I did the day I went to buy a Quran. I wanted to see for myself what Islam was, and who Muhammad was, and what the Quran said, and who was Allah. Because to many of us, we think it's a different God. Prior to Islam, you don't understand all these words, and many of these words, are in Arabic, so they're very foreign to us. So once I started reading the Quran, that's really when, my journey began, and many of my questions were being answered as I read the Quran, and then I started comparing the Bible with the Quran, and eventually it led me to go visit a mosque, and I did that. I started taking classes. So my journey was pretty lengthy just because I wanted to make sure that this is something that I really wanted. But prior to Islam, I went to a Mormon church. I went to a Jehovah's Witness church. I went to a Baptist church. So I was in search. My spiritual search was not just that I landed in Islam, or it took a while before I really understood the religion itself, and that it was very fit for my values and morals that I had to begin with, being a Mexican woman, because a lot of the Islamic values and morals that we have, they come from, being raised as a strong Mexican woman with strong family values. So it went hand in hand, and one of the most fascinating things, or that I really grasped onto, was the fact that Muslims or Islam, believes and honors Jesus, and that's something I held on to it was very important to me. And so once I understood that there was an entire chapter dedicated to his mother, that's really what I said, this is for me. And the fact that every time I went to the mosque and I was encouraged to ask questions, versus when I would ask my grandmother, she would just tell me to believe. And that was it. She was like, you just have to be a believer. By believing, don't ask. And that's it. So that's really what encouraged me and how my journey began.
Jazakumullah khair. We're going to go ahead with the translation, inshallah, and we shall continue.
Certainly, my pleasure. Nos dice la hermana Mahila Morales. ¿Es Mayela o Mahila? Mahila Morales. Una muy bonita historia nos está dando la hermana, ya es la organizadora de la organización sin fines de lucros, que se conoce como Islam en español, que fue también organizada por el hermano Jaime Mijahet Fletcher. Vemos nosotros entonces, hermanos, que la hermana, cuando el hermano Rashid le hace la pregunta de que cómo fue su background y que la atrajo a ella al Islam, pues ella le dice de que pues su background religioso, ella siempre estaba cuestionando y estaba en busca de la fe. Ella es original de Cuernavacas, Morelos, en México, una región muy bonita de ese país. Nos dice también de que se vio motivada a tener que trasladarse y mudarse hacia la ciudad de Nueva York, a donde se mudó 3 meses antes de los acontecimientos del 9/11, y fue a comprar un Corán para tratar de entender un poco sobre qué era lo que había ocurrido con esos eventos de estos alegados musulmanes. Y entonces vemos que también ella nos narra de que una vez ella comenzó a leer el Corán, ella verdaderamente entendió y pudo compenetrarse en lo que es el verdadero conocimiento de lo que es el Islam, que es la total y completa sumisión a la voluntad de Dios. Esto ella dice que representa para ella muy importante. Primero, que ella nos establece de que hay que tomarlo y hay que asumir control. Ella utiliza la frase, you have to take it upon yourself. Tú tienes que asumir control y tú tienes que darte a esa tarea de verdad, entrar en conocimiento de ese creador. También tienes que saber quién era y cuál era la función del profeta Mohammed, y mucho más aún. Ella pues pudo también aprender mucho de lo que el Corán enseña. Ella tuvo la oportunidad también de hacer un análisis comparativo entre la Biblia y el Corán, y también acudía a las mezquitas locales de modo de ella poder tomar clases y aprender más. Su búsqueda no había concluido únicamente aquí. Previamente ella había visitado templos de cristianos como los mormones, había visitado también templos de los testigos de Jehová, y también ella continuaba en su búsqueda y en su, como diríamos, excavando, buscando esos detalles bonitos para su espíritu, para su alma. Dice ella que también, siendo una dama mexicana con valores que vienen, unos valores sólidos, sólidamente establecidos en términos de la base familiar, pues esto iba a la par, iba de la mano también con lo que ella estaba aprendiendo con el Islam, que también comparte ese tipo de principios. Vemos que musulmanes e Islam ambos también creemos y honramos a Jesús. O sea, usted no puede ser musulmán si usted no cree en Jesús y en todos los profetas. Y eso a ella le dio un toque significativo en su vida, ya que al ella percatarse de que el Corán le dedicaba un capítulo entero a la madre de Jesús, y no solamente un capítulo a la madre, hay un capítulo también dedicado a la familia de Jesús, que es el sura número 3, el sura Imran, que habla sobre el abuelo de Jesús, que es bien, muy sumamente interesante. Vemos cómo todas las escrituras se van completando, o sea, la sabiduría de Dios al darnos datos y detalles. En las revelaciones anteriores, por ejemplo, vemos como en el Torah se habla, digamos, en el caso del profeta Musa, de cuando Jesús tiene el altercado con el siervo del faraón, pero no nos dice el nombre. El Corán nos dice el nombre en específico, y eso es lo que permite que los científicos modernos pudiesen identificar cuál fue el verdadero faraón que existió en los tiempos de Moisés, que fue el faraón que murió en el cruce del Mar Rojo. Hermana Mahila y hermano Rashid, yo sé cómo la jugaron.
So what was the reaction of friends and family upon hearing that you revert or convert to Islam? Sister Nahila?
Because I moved to New York and I was basically by myself, it wasn't that difficult. I did lose some friends along the way as soon as they saw me with the headscarf, with the hijab. But then throughout the years, as they knew my positive change, they came back and they asked questions. And eventually some of those friends came back in my life, and then I lost a few that never returned. The biggest challenge, I guess, it was returning to Mexico to see my family with the headscarf. That was very difficult the first time. Not only was I extremely nervous, but as a new Muslim, I wanted to prepare myself to be able to answer all of their questions, which you're never really prepared because you really never know what they're going to ask you. Excuse me. But I tried as much as I could. And so I did encounter challenges, specifically with one of my cousins, which I would say she is the most religious in my family besides my grandmother. And she was very upset. She felt betrayed. I think that's the proper word to use. She felt like the upbringing and the family core values that, they instilled in me, I was being brainwashed and they were being banished just overnight. So much so that in one occasion, she actually she ripped off my hijab and she slapped me. And she told me that I would never become Arab, no matter what I did. So that alone tells you the ignorance, the lack of education in terms of Islam. And so it's been years now, and it was very painful. And I think it was about a year that we didn't speak until slowly with every year I went back, and I always, as if nothing ever happened, I would always greet her, and eventually she actually, from going shopping with me and walking ahead with my son to finally walking next to me and receiving me, buying me hijabs. So it has been a long transition between the first time I traveled to Mexico to now, where now she tells me, I traveled here and I bought you a hijab. And she even uses the proper terminology, which, it's a matter of being patient. I think it's a major factor here, especially for us converts, to be very patient, to make dua, and to don't give up, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala it has not given up on us, so we cannot give up on our family. I think from all the, stories and experiences, I think that's the one that marks for me the hardest in terms of reactions of friends and family upon converting or reverting to Islam. Other than that, alhamdulillah, I I knew exactly what I was getting myself into, so much so that early on I actually was fired for wearing my hijab. I was working as a medical assistant, and I was fired, and then I got very angry, but I turned it into very positive anger, where I went and got my American passport with a hijab, and so I felt like I empowered myself. I felt, that this is my right to practice my religion, and so from there onwards, I've never taken my hijab off, and it's been quite a road, but alhamdulillah, Allah has made it easy.
It sounds similar to what my wife went through when she converted. She changed jobs. She was not fired per se, but when she made the decision on her own to wear the hijab, she told me, I want to change job. I want the people to know me with the hijab, and she went on and changed her picture and the passport. She changed everything, and she took it upon herself. It's similar. And I remember when we sit down with my in-laws and her mother-in-law, oh, you have beautiful hair, why are you covering it, and this and that. He said, Mom, if you go back to your religion, to Christianity, what did Mary, the picture of Mary in every single church, what she's wearing? Is she wearing like me or wearing like somebody else? So right there, it start clearing up that misconception and stuff like that. Right now, all her family, they accept her, they embrace her, and we travel with them, no issues and everything. And similarly, her mother will purchase the hijab for her. She's proud to take pictures with her and everything. So it takes that, I see similarities in there. We're going to go ahead with the translation with Dr. Jesus, and we go back to our conversation with Sister Nahila Morales, the coordinator from Islam in Spanish organization based in Texas.
One more question, Sister.
Yes.
Is there, how did you guys keep account? You said that you opened the facilities in Houston, I believe it was in January, and you have like 209 new Muslims. Those are 209 new, how do you keep track of that?
No. 20, I believe we're on 27th shahadas here.
Oh, okay.
Shahadas.
Through the shahadas?
Yeah, since the center was under renovation.
Okay.
So we started renovation of the center prior to opening in September. So since September 2015 to today, we've had 27, 28 shahadas come through the center. And how do we keep? We have a database, and some of these have been family members that have gone back. We try to stay in touch with everybody. We assign a mentor. From the very first day, there's always a sister that's assigned to teach them how to do the wudu, the purification, and then we have sisters assigned specifically to teach them how to pray. They continuously come on a weekly basis. That's why it's very important for us as an organization that we establish this weekly class, because this is their kind of weekly spiritual lift, and they come, and it's kind of a social gathering as well. After the class, we either all go out. Not only that, but we have bi-weekly potlucks where the whole community gets involved. Just recently, Eid al-Fitr, we had a huge Eid fiesta where the entire community came. And so throughout Ramadan, we had iftars. So our connection with the new converts is extremely important, because we as converts understand the struggle and the challenges that many of us face on a day-to-day basis with our families, with our friends, with the real world out there. When this change happens, it doesn't only happen internal, it also happens external.
Speaking of potluck, I know that your organization is having an international potluck. I was following you in Facebook, and I see this announcement, international potluck on Sunday, 8/28/2006. Can you touch on that, please?
So what happens is that we have this potluck, and this is normally a bi-weekly event, and everybody comes together and shares a dish. So we have, community members or sisters, brothers that are interracially married. For example, we have a lot of Mexican sisters married to Pakistanis. So they'll bring like enchiladas and samosas, So we have this international family potluck where it gives us an opportunity to get to know the new members, especially if we had new shahadas. We integrate them in the community. We also give a reminder during this, gathering. And we rent bouncy houses for the children, like the moonwalk, so they could play. We break piñatas to keep our Latino heritage in with Islam as well. So this is a bi-monthly event that we try to do, with the exception of Ramadan, because we were very busy, so we kind of stopped there, and now we're going to continue to the end of the year. But this is a very important program that we have, and that people can bring their non-Muslim families to integrate with the Muslim community, Latinos, so they can see that if their son or daughter has accepted Islam, where they come learn. We usually welcome everybody. We make it a point for them to feel comfortable. Just on Sunday, we had our first janazah prayer for a Mexican brother's father who died, and the mother's not Muslim, and she being here and listening to everybody speak Spanish and giving her our condolences to her, we told her she's welcome to come anytime to the class. And short after that same day, the brother wrote to me and said, well, you know what, my mom's interested to come next Sunday. He was not expecting that, but I guess it's part of us as an organization and part of what Islam teaches us, to welcome everybody with open arms.
So, alhamdulillah. So go ahead, Dr. Jesus, with the translation, and we shall continue, inshallah, with our conversation. We can be reached live at 407-343-6001. We are talking with Sister Nahila Morales from Islam in Spanish, based in Texas.
Okay, nos dice la hermana Mahira Morales, que es miembro, es organizadora de el Islam in Spanish en Houston, Texas. Dicho sea de paso también, ellos tienen próximamente lo que se conoce como el International Potluck. Y este Potluck está siendo organizado para el día agosto 28 del 2016, desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde. Posiblemente, conociéndonos a nosotros los latinos, se extenderá un poquito más, ¿verdad, hermana? Y
sí.
I'm telling her that knowing the way we Latinos behave, that for sure it's going to end much later than 5 p.m.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Moroccan is the same culture. They come in late and you stay late, it's okay.
So no está diciendo ella de que todo el mundo está bienvenido para que asistan. Eso está localizado en el número 6200 de la autopista número 6 sur, en la suite 101 en Houston, Texas, 77082. También pueden comunicarse con ellos a través del internet por www.IslaminSpanish.org, y ya ahí de esa manera pueden comunicarse con ellos y pueden participar con el potluck, la convivencia, la forma de compartir, y entonces así van a darse cuenta de lo que es el verdadero Islam, y ahí lo tienen también, Islam y en español. Le preguntaba al hermano Rashid, a la hermana Mahila, sobre su reacción, la reacción no de ella, sino de sus familiares, sus hermanos y amistades, cuando ella se convirtió al Islam. Y entonces ella nos responde de que debido a que ella se mudó estaba recientemente mudada para la ciudad de Nueva York y estaba por su cuenta, pues ella perdió ciertos amigos, algunos regresaron y otros nunca los volvió a ver. En términos del impacto familiar, cuando ella que regresó a México, pues vemos que entonces ella regresó con su hijab, estaba un poco nerviosa, solamente tuvo una confrontación con una de sus primas, que aparentemente ella estaba muy molesta y se sentía como que la hermana Mahila la había traicionado. Ella pensaba que era que le habían hecho algún tipo de lavado de cerebro y que esta pues se había convertido a algún tipo de secta que verdaderamente pues iba contrario a la manera como ella había sido criada. Pues lamentablemente lamentable y afortunadamente la hermana se puso bien agresiva, en términos de que hasta le aló su hijab, se lo quitó, incluso la llegó a cachetear, le dio en su rostro. Y entonces, aún después de que pasa esta situación, eso fue como quien dice la cúspide de la tensión, después de la tensión que existía entre ellas, pues entonces luego empezaron nuevamente a conversar y empezaron nuevamente a comunicarse y empezaron a compartir hasta el punto en que pues la prima la visitaba pero caminaba al frente con los hijos de ella, luego empezó a caminar con la hermana Magila también y entonces luego ya llega hasta el punto de que están en armonía nuevamente y la propia prima pues le compra hijabs y se los regala a la hermana. Así que vemos pues, eso es parte de lo que le estaba comentando acá al hermano Rashid, que es lo que el principio ese del Sirat al-Raham. ¿Qué es el Sirat al-Raham, bro Rashid? What is the Sirat al-Raham?
Silat al-Rahim, meaning the religious aspect of it, is to extend the relation, to maintain, to nourish, to keep the family tie, and it is more than that. It is doing it in a benevolent way. Means Silat Rahim is someone that cuts you off. So the example of what Sister Nahila went through, when someone from her family is cut off, but from an Islamic perspective, you continue and you strive to nourish that relationship, not to extend it, even if the people that are trying to cut you off, but you are doing your utmost to keep that relation, and it works, and definitely, and there is an immense reward in that, because Islam bring people together, bring community together. By becoming a Muslim, you don't lose your identity. Here you go, we have an example from the sister. She's from she's Latina, or she's from Mexican, but she did not lose her family values. As a Christian lady, you don't lose because Islam traced its roots in all the previous revelation. Every single prophet that came with the message of Islam. They all the prophet, with no exception, they all submitted to the will of God. That's what the Islam means. So therefore, we have Islam is universal. We have, for instance, my wife. She was born in Ohio. She's an American Muslim, but Islam have more values. When you become a Muslim, you have more. You love the prophets more. You have more appreciation of Jesus. You have more appreciation of Moses. You have more appreciation of all the prophets, and you become a better citizen because you appreciate this country and you contribute this question. And that brings me to the question that I want to ask Sister Nahira. What is the value that Muslim in general and Muslim women in particular bring to the society at large? Sister Nahila, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Inshallah.
Were you going to let him translate all that? Otra de las cosas muy importantes que quería...
Yeah.
I don't speak Spanish, so I thought it was finished.
Let me do the zero to raham part.
Good. I'm sorry.
Okay, le estaba preguntando también al hermano Rashid eso para aclarar el punto después de que ocurre la situación que estábamos narrando, el conflicto que había tenido la hermana Magila con su prima. Pues entonces yo le estaba diciendo, esto es un concepto islámico que se llama Sirat al-Raham, y le estaba diciendo al hermano Rashid que por favor explicara para beneficio de la audiencia qué significa el concepto. Este nos habla de que es mantener y nutrir los nexos tanto familiares así como de amistades. En muchas ocasiones hay personas que se nos alejan, que nos rechazan por un motivo u otro, puede ser religioso o no religioso, y nosotros como ejemplo en nuestra comunidad siempre tenemos que estar buscándolos a ellos, acercándonos, dándole ejemplo, tener poner en función parte de esa compasión que Dios ha derramado en nuestros corazones. Pues tenemos que también utilizarla para derramarla y poder nosotros compartir así efectivamente con nuestros familiares y amistades. El Islam también nos dice el hermano Rashid de que pues nos demuestra mayor apreciación y mayor confort en términos de cómo nos sentimos con relación a los profetas, y aprendemos a valorarlos mucho más de lo que históricamente, o sea, basado en lo que hayamos aprendido en el pasado, en nuestras disciplinas anteriores. Pues en el Islam, por ejemplo, en el Islam usted no puede pensar jamás ni nunca, o sea, para nosotros Dios selecciona para profetas a las personas, a los seres humanos del más alto calibre. El hablar derogativamente o hablar negativamente de cualquier profeta en el Islam es inaceptable. O sea, los profetas son los seres humanos que Dios ha seleccionado, y Dios no selecciona mediocres ni selecciona porquerías, Dios selecciona la mejor calidad de individuos. Entonces estamos viendo de que aquí cuando en muchas ocasiones a veces pues se hacen burlas o se hacen comentarios o citas de que algún profeta tiene algo negativo, para nosotros pues eso pues simple y sencillamente pues no, eso no es válido y no se acepta. Nos dice también la hermana Magila de que ella para también en su experiencia pues ella fue y sacó su pasaporte americano y su fotografía con su hijab, pues, ya que esa es pues su religión, pues que obviamente iba a continuar haciéndolo. El hermano Rashid también dice que su esposa atravesó este tipo de situación, que toda su familia pues la aceptó exitosamente para para la esposa del hermano Rashid, pues esta no tuvo unos conflictos tan serios como lo tuvo la hermana Magila, pero vemos que la regla es la experiencia que atravesó la hermana Magila y no la experiencia que atravesó la esposa del hermano Rashid. Y lamentablemente pues tienden en muchas ocasiones nuestros familiares a repudiarnos o a criticarnos o a hacernos comentarios de nuestra religión. Pues nosotros tenemos que hacer eso, el Sirat al-Raham. Tenemos que dar de esa compasión y de ese amor a nuestros familiares y a nuestras amistades para que ellos aprendan lo que es el verdadero Islam. Ese es el motivo por el cual nos critican, porque no están educados, no tienen el conocimiento, y teniendo conocimiento cambian de opinión. Ella nos dice también de que ellos mantienen un database y así mantienen también control y mantienen su conocimiento y su información sobre aquellas personas que son los nuevos conversos al Islam. También le asignan a estas personas que se han convertido nuevos, le asignan mentores, que estos mentores los enseñan a hacer el wudú, que es el aseo antes de hacer las oraciones. También le asignan mentores a los nuevos miembros para que aprendan a rezar y para también familiarizarse con las recitaciones. Hacen los potlucks, que es lo que estábamos hablando, las actividades de convivencia, donde se comparten alimentos en un ambiente comunitario, y entonces pues todo el mundo queda integrado y cada cual lleva representantes y lleva también platos representativos de su comunidad. El que sea chileno pues lleva de Chile, el que sea argentino, uruguayo, el que sea puertorriqueño pues se aparecerá con su arroz con gandules, el que sea mexicano pues aparece con sus taquitos y sus enchiladas. Se lleva de todo para poder compartir. Y que también nos dice ella de que recientemente tuvieron el primer janaza, la oración de janaza, que es la oración que se hace, la ceremonia que se hace para despedir a una persona que ha fallecido, para uno de los padres de uno de los hermanos de la comunidad. Y entonces la esposa estaba allí, ella no es musulmana, y el hermano se contactó con ellos luego de haber pasado una ceremonia muy bonita, diciéndoles de que la esposa quiere continuar asistiendo a las facilidades de la mezquita de ellos en Houston. Brother Rashid,
yes, sister, the
question again.
What is the value that Muslim women bring to society?
I believe it's endless. That question is pretty broad, but let me concise it by saying that Muslim women, we are seeing it day-to-day basis. We have women who are teachers, who are, I believe in Minnesota, we even have a Muslim woman with a hijab. She's a policeman. We have people in Congress. So we have many Muslim women who are contributing to our day-to-day basis and our society at large. Recently, IslaminSpanish was invited to the White House for the annual iftar with President Obama, and I had the pleasure to assist. This was July 21st, and we had the opportunity to be amongst many of the women that are making a difference in this country, and we were able to have dialogue with many of them, including, the legendary Muhammad Ali's family was there, his daughters. They were very surprised to hear about IslaminSpanish altogether. They had no idea that there was Hispanic or Spanish-speaking Muslims. So not only are we contributing in society, but even within our own ummah, a lot of people don't know of, the value that we do put out there, and how when the media contacts us, many times myself as a Muslim woman, we're contacted by Univision, Telemundo, CNN in Spanish. And so when we're speaking about Islam or being in front of a camera representing our religion, we're speaking in the Spanish language, but we're really representing all of us at large. And so Islam in Spanish is always contacted. We are that window in the media. And they obviously do not disregard us in terms of, a different type of group. They say, Muslims. So we are contributing in many aspects in society. And so when I was at that White House, I met also, which she's a friend of mine, the Ibn Hajj Muhammad, who is the first American woman, African-American Muslim woman to represent the U.S. In this year's Olympics in Rio. And so for her being there and representing, and she brings that, I remember speaking to her, and she says, when I was a young girl, there was so many things against me. I was not only a woman, I was black, and on top of that, Muslim, because she does observe the hijab. So it is beautiful to see how Muslim women are contributing to society at large, and we see it now not only in the Olympics, in Congress, in the media. We have teachers. We have. I've worked at the polls when election time comes, so we contribute in so many aspects. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I got the pleasure to see her. Me and my wife, we saw her in a convention in Chicago, and they were very humble. I met her brother as well there, so they were very humble, and we pray that she will win more award for the USA, and she's representing the US. She's representing the Muslims as large, and it's beautiful to see that she's empowered to keep her faith, and and keep true to her faith, and being showing sportsmanship out there, and good. She's doing a great job, by the way. We go ahead with the translation, and we continue with our conversation with Sister Nahila Morales from Islam in Spanish.
Nos dice la distinguida hermana Mahila de que le pregunta el hermano Rashid cuáles son los valores que la mujer, que las damas islámicas musulmanas traen al Islam y que le traen a la sociedad. Y entonces ella le dice que eso es una pregunta sumamente amplia, pero que entre otras cosas pues tenemos muchos profesores que nos sirven en el renglón de la enseñanza y la pedagogía. Tenemos también damas que utilizan su hijab, utilizan también su hijab, y son mujeres policías en diferentes estados de nuestra unión. Creo que ella mencionó una en particular en Ohio. Nos habla también de que tenemos representantes en el Congreso que son musulmanes. Vemos también que tenemos muchas personas, muchas damas que están contribuyendo. Ella fue invitada también a la Casa Blanca por el presidente para la actividad del iftar, y tuvo la oportunidad de allí poder conocer a la familia del finado Muhammad Ali, el más grande boxeador de peso completo de todos los tiempos, recientemente fallecido, en paz descanse, y tuvo la oportunidad de compartir con ellas, con las hijas de Muhammad Ali, y pudo ellas estaban sorprendidas de esta iniciativa nueva del Islam en español, y no deben sorprenderse, porque la verdad que ya la comunidad latina aquí en la Florida ya está llegando a un 60% o más del hábitat en la Florida central. O sea que vemos que esto se va a seguir sintiendo mucho más, y los datos nos informan también de que es la comunidad latina es la que mayormente se está convirtiendo al Islam también, igualmente en esta región de la Florida Central. Vemos también que ella nos habla del Ummah, donde los valores tienen a los contactos de los medios de comunicación. Esta habla sobre el Islam, y cuando ella la están entrevistando sobre el Islam, ella le está hablando sobre el Islam en español. Ella la entrevista Telemundo y Univision, Y cuando es entrevistada de ese modo, pues nos está representando a todos los musulmanes, que seamos, que hablemos o no hablemos español, sino a toda la comunidad islámica en general. Vemos también que en la Casa Blanca también ella tuvo la oportunidad, que es su amiga, le menciona a ella Ibn Tihaj Mohammed, que es la primera dama musulmana que está compitiendo en los Juegos Olímpicos en Brasil, representando a la nación americana, y vemos que ella pues pertenece a 3 grupos minoritarios. Primero dama, segundo pertenece también es africana americana, y tercero pues también es islámica, es musulmana, y ella está muy contenta y muy orgullosa de pertenecer a estos 3 grupos y de estar representando a los Estados Unidos de América en las Olimpiadas. Vemos que también ella nos habla de que interactúa mucho y también hay muchas personas, damas, que están en los medios de comunicación, que son musulmanas y que contribuyen en muchos aspectos. Nos dice también el hermano Rashid que él conoció a la hermana de la joven que va a estar participando, al hermano de la joven que va a estar participando en las Olimpiadas en Brasil. Brother Rashid,
men and women are of the same family. They have rights and duties, and also the Lord says in the Quran, chapter 3 verse 195, chapter 3 verse 195, never will I waste the work of worker among you, whether male or female, the one of you being from the other. So there is so many misconceptions out there, and now with the presidential debate and stuff like that, there is so many dehumanization of the Muslims in general in the media, and fairly being misrepresented. So we would like for Sister Morales to tell us, is that true that the first university in the world was established by a Muslim woman? Can you touch on that, please?
Yes, as a matter of fact, in your country, Fez, Morocco, which I've had the pleasure to visit several times, and I love. It's one of my favorite countries. Fatima Al-Fitri, she was the first woman that she established the first university, Al-Kawari.
Al-Karawan.
Yeah.
Karawan.
And so this allows us alone. I mean, a lot of people don't know the history and the rich history that women have contributed throughout centuries. We're not talking about yesterday or today. We're talking about years ago. So it is a fact, and it is very important for everybody that is listening to educate ourselves. I think that's one of the biggest things that our Creator has given us. He's given us a brain for us to think, for us to take it upon ourselves and really empower our knowledge. A lot of misconceptions that people have is that if you visit a mosque or if you pick up and read a Quran, you have to convert. That's nonsense. This is for your education, for you to have a fruitful conversation, to know it's just like any other religion, it's like any other topic. Last year, around this time, I actually had a scholarship in Cairo, Egypt at Al-Azhar University, and I was there for about a month, and the different subjects that we had, from science to fiqh to so many things that we were learning. It's so amazing that the educating ourselves, it's an ocean. It's a never-ending ocean. So for everybody listening, I think one of the greatest advice that I can give you, because I took it upon myself, this same advice was to educate ourselves. Islam has contributed in so many ways in medicine, algebra, math. It's nothing new. I mean, coffee alone is drank around the world, and people don't know that a Muslim actually discovered it. So these are factors. This is not something made up, and this is, relevant to all of us. So I think it's very important to really take the time to educate ourselves. We're in the 20th century. It's really like a couple years ago, my son and I went on vacation, and we went to this little town in Chiapas, and I remember they kept saying how this church was historical, and at that time he was around 8, I believe. And, I said, let's go in there. And he was shocked because he's always been in Islamic school. And he says, we're going to go inside a church. I said, we're going to educate ourselves. I wanted to see what they practice and the difference between what we have in a mosque and what they have in a church. And unless you go inside and look for yourself, you're not going to be able to know the difference. So this is an 8-year-old boy that you're teaching. So if you can actually do that with yourself, you will enrich yourself and your life and your knowledge for as long as we live. So it's very important to take it upon ourselves to educate ourselves of all the contributions that Muslims in general, women, men, have brought to society at large.
How did he like it, the sister? How did he like the experience at the church?
Oh, it was very scary because this particular church, it's in Chamula. This is the name of the town, Chamula in Chiapas. And so it was very, very scary, even for myself, because I've been to church, as a young child, but it was never like this. They had the saints in these boxes.
Well, signal that you have 1 minute.
Go ahead.
They
Continue.
had these saints in these boxes with blood, right? And in the middle of the church, we didn't know that it was their week of pilgrimage or what have you. They were sacrificing chickens and stuff inside the church.
Oh my God.
So it was pretty scary for us, and I was not expecting that, but it was a learning experience, alhamdulillah.
Saints in boxes with blood. Okay. Wow, okay. Thank you, dear sister. Nos dice la querida hermana Mahila de que ella como dama islámica viene de la misma familia, ha estado trabajando con los medios y ha representado al Islam. Ella visitó, el hermano Rashid le preguntó de que si tiene conocimiento de alguna dama que haya hecho algún hecho histórico, algún acontecimiento bien importante. Ella nos menciona a Fátima al-Fitimi, que es la primera dama.
Al-Fihri.
Al-Fihri, ok.
Yeah.
Al-Fihri, que es la primera dama que estableció la primera universidad, y esto fue en Marruecos, que es la Al-Karawan, se llama. Is the name of the university?
Karawan, yeah. It's still standing to this day, actually.
Yeah?
It's still, the university is still functioning and everything. And it got renovated by 2 Moroccan women as well.
Tons of knowledge over there, and it's beautiful. Nos dice que también eso no es algo reciente, que va muchos siglos atrás, que ella visita, si tú vas a visitar las mezquitas y lees el Corán, hay personas que piensan que si visitan la mezquita y que si leen el Corán, que entonces tienen que convertirse al Islam, y esto es totalmente falso. Simplemente se están educando. Ella nos invita, nos endosa para que nos eduquemos todos y que nos demos cuenta de que la educación es un océano que no tiene final. El Islam ha contribuido en muchísimas modos y maneras. Por ejemplo, ella nos trae a colación también el ejemplo del café, que es uno de los granos que fue descubierto también y distribuido por el mundo islámico y luego el resto del mundo en particular.
So the time come to close. We thank Sister Nahila from Islam in Spanish, and we ask our audience to support that organization, Islam in Spanish. Their website is www.islaminspanish.org. We ask our audience, and we thank La Mágica 1220 for hosting us. We thank Dr. Jesus, and we thank our audience. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum.
Muchas gracias. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi
wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, sister. Bye-bye.